You've already been manipulated this week, maybe today, and you didn't notice it. Because psychological control doesn't look like control. It looks like urgency. It looks like guilt. It looks like love. Today, I'm giving you your first 10 moves in psychological self-defense. And once you see these patterns, you won't unsee them. There are two types of people in social dynamics. People trying to connect, and people scanning for leverage. This video is not about paranoia. It's about pattern recognition. By the end of this, you'll know how manipulators destabilize you, why pressure works, how attachment gets weaponized, and how to shut it down calmly. Simple first, then deeper, then sharper. Let's step into the arena. Every conversation has an invisible layer. Above the surface, words. Below the surface, power. Who defines meaning? Who controls tempo? Who controls emotion? Manipulation is rarely loud. It's subtle shifts in perception. So we start with move one. Move one. Control your state. Your emotional state is your steering wheel. Manipulation begins with emotional disruption. If someone can make you anxious, defensive, or guilty on command, they're steering you. Simple truth. Manipulation begins with emotional disruption. Think of your nervous system like a dashboard light. When it flashes, something is being activated. Predators don't argue facts first. They trigger feelings. Why? Because emotion narrows thinking. When you're reactive, your brain shifts from reasoning to survival mode. That's not weakness. That's biology. Under stress, your amygdala activates. This is your threat detector. When it fires, your prefrontal cortex, logic, decision-making, dims. That's why you say things you regret. Agree to things you shouldn't. Stay longer than you planned. Manipulators escalate tone, urgency, or ambiguity to activate that shift. They don't need you convinced. They need you destabilized, because destabilized people comply faster. Tactical shift. Self-regulation is dominance. Slow breathing lowers cortisol. Posture affects internal chemistry. Pauses create psychological gravity. Silence is power because it prevents emotional hijack. Your first move in any psychological conflict: stabilize your internal state before responding. If you master this, half of manipulation fails automatically. Move 2, define the frame. The frame is the meaning around the situation. Who defines what's happening controls perception. Example, you say no. They say, wow, you're selfish. Now the frame isn't about your boundary. It's about your character. That's reframing. Manipulators shift conversations from behavior to identity. You didn't cancel plans. You don't care. You didn't disagree. You're disrespectful. If they can label you emotionally, you'll start defending the label instead of the issue. Defense equals to surrendering the frame. Framing exploits cognitive bias, specifically attribution error. Humans tend to interpret actions as personality traits. Predators weaponize that bias. Tactical move. Refocus on behavior. Instead of, I'm not selfish, say, I chose not to attend. That's different. Calmly restate the action without absorbing the label. Frame regained. And when you hold your frame calmly, the power dynamic shifts silently. Move 3. Delay your yes. Pressure is a manipulation tool. Urgency compresses thought. If you really cared, you'd decide now. That sentence isn't about care. It's about speed. Beginner insight. Time creates clarity. When you delay a decision, emotional intensity fades. Logic resurfaces. Predator lens. Manipulators create artificial urgency because reflection reduces compliance. They know this. That's why they say, last chance. Right now. Don't overthink it. Decision fatigue and time pressure reduce executive function. Under urgency, humans rely on shortcuts. Shortcuts are exploitable. Tactical phrase, I don't decide under pressure. Neutral tone. No hostility. Just standard. Watch how that disrupts control attempts. When someone resists your right to think, they're revealing intent. Move 4. Separate intent from impact. People will say, that's not what I meant. Intent does not erase impact. If someone steps on your foot accidentally, it still hurts. Manipulators hide behind intent. I was joking. You're too sensitive. This reframes your reaction as the problem. Gaslighting begins with minimizing impact. It erodes your trust and perception. Repeated exposure causes cognitive dissonance, the discomfort of holding conflicting realities. To reduce discomfort, many people adjust their own memory. That's how control deepens. Tactical move. I understand that wasn't your intent. The impact still matters. You acknowledge without surrendering perception. You don't argue about intention. You anchor in reality. Move 5. Watch patterns, not promises. Anyone can promise. Patterns require consistency. Manipulative dynamics rely on intermittent reinforcement. Sometimes warm, sometimes distant. Unpredictability creates dopamine spikes. You don't chase certainty. You chase possibility. Inconsistency keeps you hooked. If they were always bad, you'd leave. If they were always good, you'd relax. The mix creates dependency. Intermittent reinforcement strengthens behavioral loops more than consistent reward. That's why trauma bonds form. Tactical shift. Measure behavior across time, not emotion in the moment. Consistency is truth. Words are marketing. Move 6. Stop explaining excessively. Over-explaining feels polite, but often it's fear-based. You want to be understood. You want approval. Manipulators sense that, and they push. The more you justify, the more leverage they gain, because now you're negotiating your own boundary. Over-explaining signals low perceived authority. In power dynamics, brevity signals confidence. Tactical line. That doesn't work for me. No essay. No defense. Silence afterward. The person who talks more in conflict often concedes more ground. Authority doesn't over-clarify. Move 7. Detach from validation. If someone controls your sense of worth, they control your behavior. Approval becomes currency. Manipulators alternate validation and withdrawal. Praise, distance, praise, silence. That destabilizes identity. You begin chasing restoration. Attachment systems activate under perceived rejection. Anxious attachment especially seeks repair urgently. Predators intuitively exploit this. Tactical power. Validate yourself first. Notice the shift. When you no longer need applause, pressure tactics lose effect. Indifference to validation is immunity. Move 8. Use a strategic silence. Silence feels uncomfortable. Most people rush to fill it. Predators rely on that discomfort. They say something provocative and wait for you to scramble. If they can make you rush to clarify, defend, or explain, they steer the exchange. Silence increases perceived dominance. It creates psychological weight. It forces the other person to reveal more. Tactical execution. Pause 3 seconds longer than comfortable. Hold eye contact. Relax posture. Let them speak into their own discomfort. You'll be surprised what surfaces. Move 9. Name the tactic. When you calmly name a behavior, it loses subtlety. Example, that feels like pressure. That's shifting the topic. That sounds like guilt. Manipulation thrives in ambiguity. When it's exposed, it either escalates or retreats. Both reveal intent. Meta-communication, talking about the communication itself, disrupts covert control. It pulls the exchange into conscious awareness. Predators prefer subconscious influence. Tactical note. Tone matters. Calm. Neutral. Observational. Not accusatory. When you name tactics without emotional charge, you destabilize manipulation. Move at 10. Exit cleanly. The ultimate defense is disengagement. Not every battle deserves your energy. Not every person deserves access. Manipulators escalate when losing control. They may provoke to re-engage. Your reaction restores access. Extinction bursts occur when reinforcement stops. When you remove attention, behavior may intensify temporarily. That doesn't mean you're wrong. It means the pattern is starving. Tactical exit. Short, clear, final. I'm not continuing this. No essay. No anger. No revenge speech. And then consistency. The most powerful move in psychological self-defense is the willingness to walk away. You don't become unmanipulable overnight. You become aware first, then steady, then difficult to destabilize. Predators don't look for strength. They look for reactivity, for urgency, for emotional hunger, for the need to be chosen. When those soften, you become difficult to destabilize and boring to control. To anyone who relied on your confusion, rewatch this. Not because it's intense, but because the second time, you'll recognize faces, and that's when it becomes real. These are your first 10 moves. Simple, but not easy, because the hardest part is not seeing manipulation. It's accepting it. Once you do, the arena changes, and so do you.